It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interview. Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, and yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on in. It's the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, streaming around the world at 1069thefan.com and on the 1069 The Fan mobile app. On the website and the mobile app, that's where you can find past episodes. You can find our podcasts there or wherever you subscribe to podcasts. And, of course, if you want to chime in and be a part of the program today, we always invite your participation. And you can do that on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line, 435-339-0321. And heavy basketball focus on the show today as we got an invite to go watch Utah State men's basketball team practice, and I was also invited, but I forgot.
Eric only goes to these when he's not invited, like when he snuck into football practice. We should have had you all throughout spring be our covert spy.
Just sneak into the spring practices, hope Coach Mendenhall doesn't notice me.
Just get like a Utah State polo and just like walk around.
I have like a little clipboard under my arm.
Yeah, basically. That's the important, the clipboard.
A whistle around my neck, and then I'll be good.
Basically.
Yeah, honestly, we talked about this. Jason had mentioned it to me, reminded me yesterday, this is what's going on, and I had made a mental note. But Monday night, I'm with my family. We're talking about the things we have this week, and it's a very busy week for my family. It's just a variety of different things that are going on. And it was a very busy day tomorrow here at the old radio ranch. And all that has been on my mind. And went to bed, didn't set my alarm right, didn't set my reminder. And I just got up in the shower, getting ready for the day. And as I get out, I'm like, I'm supposed to be at practice.
It's a thought I haven't had since high school. I'm supposed to be at practice.
But thankfully, Jason was there. As you got to watch practice, you got to observe these new players for Utah State, old ones as well. You got a chance to talk to the coach, talk to the players. You weren't the only one there. There were other media members who were there, thank goodness. But just your quick observations. We'll get to more of those. We'll hear from some of the players and the coach as well, and also invite your reactions to what we hear and what you observed on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line.
Yeah, I'll also have this as kind of an emptying the notebook article. I've been trying to cobble it together. It is a mess and word dump, but I'm just going to lean into that, and I'm just going to dump everything in there. Just a bunch of different random observations loosely grouped together in terms of what I got. But of course, we're going to go through all those observations on the show. So if you want to just listen in right now, you'll get to hear all that, but you can also go reference the article later or re-listen to the show. However, if you want to get back to some of my thoughts and analysis, somewhat limited because it's 1 hour, but there were a lot of things that I was able to take away. Some being about the players themselves as far as their physical attributes, because some of these players have changed physically, and then some of the on-court stuff that I was able to observe. They did a lot of 5-on-5. It wasn't just drills. They did some scrimmaging for about half of the hour. They were doing some kind of, 5-on-5 scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to hear how that went. Before we get into that, before we hear the audio from the coach and players and more of your observations, we did get a few texts that were sent in earlier today on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line, 9315, asking, what's the bare minimum for the Pac to have its P5 standard back in place across football and basketball? Would the media deal have a factor in this? The minimum to have its standard back in place, I think you'd have to have regular appearances in the college football playoff, and not just appearances. I think you have to win. And
you'd have to get somebody to like the title game.
Right. You're right. And it has to be like, okay, regularly somebody out of that conference is in the mix.
Yeah.
Not just a one-off, but regularly.
And also at-large bids to the playoff. Basically, own the automatic spot for the group of 5, and then also have semi-regular at-large appearances from another member in the conference. Because part of the thing with the power conferences is that they're deep. They don't just have one team carrying the conference. In a sense, some of them maybe kind of do, like Ohio State's kind of carrying the Big Ten. Alabama supposedly carries the SEC. But you also see that rotate a little bit because, like, Michigan won a national title. Georgia has been kind of taking over for Alabama. You've seen LSU. So it's a lot of different teams. And even on down to the middle and back end of their conference, there's some of those teams at the back end of the power conferences are still better than some of the best teams in the group of 5. So you have to be obviously great at the top, but also great all throughout.
Right. And this isn't to regain P5 status, you have to have regular success at a high level across multiple teams and across multiple sports. I think you'd have to have, 4 to 5 teams regularly in the NCAA tournament who don't just make it to the tournament, but have runs in the tournament. And having Gonzaga in the mix can help that.
Yeah. The thing is with basketball is that they're decently close to being you could call them a major conference in basketball. I think there's a step or two maybe where they're short a bit. But yeah, you have multiple teams in your conference who've made Final Four runs in the last 5-6 years. You have other teams that are regularly making the tournament. In basketball, they're going to be an actual fringe power conference. They're not going to have some kind of official designation, but it's going to get some serious respect in basketball. In football, there's a ways to go.
Yeah, and then you've got to get solid TV ratings for when you play.
Yeah, that's obviously a big thing.
Those are just our observations. I don't know if I haven't seen any criteria of what makes a P4 school or conference a power conference or an autonomous conference. But that would be my guess as to what the Pac-12 would need to accomplish. And maybe they can do that over these next 4 or 5 years when this new media deal comes up. But it's going to be a steep hill to climb.
Basically, it's spending a lot more money and making a lot more money. And all the things that cause those to happen.
Right.
Which a lot of that is just winning.
1913 texting in. Diana Sabo's done a great job. She hired Jerrod Calhoun and Bronco. Got us into the Pac-12, all while still being flamed by some fans for the Blake Anderson and other Title IX firings. After the loss to New Mexico in football, the post-game show was lit up with anger from fans towards Diana. It was definitely unfair. She deserves an apology from all fans that acted this way.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people who are still not happy about how that whole thing went down, but there are also there are a lot of people who are really happy with the job that Diana Sabo has done. And I think there's a certain amount of praise that she deserves for how she's managed some, I would say murky or treacherous waters. I don't know if those are the right words, but it's not been smooth sailing, to put it one way. And she's managed things pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah, there's been some good and there's been some bad. To say that it's all roses and rainbows, that would be a gross mischaracterization. It's not all been missteps either. There have been some good things. I think that there is somebody that is new to this position, learning as she went, making some mistakes, learning from them. But there have been some great things that have happened under her watch as well. So I think there was a lot of justified anger and frustration from fans last fall. So I'm not going to tell those fans they need to change how they felt back then. But I think things have there's been other things that have happened since then that have been good things under her watch. Yeah. So there's been some good and there's been some bad. Anyone who tries to say it's all one way or the other, they're just trying to prove how they feel.
Yeah, there's been a lot of nuance to this whole situation.
Yeah. 2444 texting in. I'm excited to hear Jason's analysis of the men's basketball practice this morning. Very optimistic about this roster. And the brief practice highlight clip released on social media over the weekend only got me more excited. I think this team will be good.
Yeah, and there was a few more clips. They shared some B-roll footage, primarily for news outlets. That's honestly who that was targeting, but I took it. It was about a minute long and just threw it on social media. Courtesy, I got some videos of practice myself, but they're crappy videos shot on my little camera phone, so not nearly as good as the stuff that they shot. But yeah, getting into some of my thoughts, I think there's reason to be excited about this roster. It's not all, roses and whatnot. There were some things that I was mildly disappointed in, but it was like one or two things out of a sea of things that I think I was more excited about in seeing this team and what they could potentially be. And I want to kind of start out with some observations about the players themselves, their physical attributes, because there were a lot of different things that I became more optimistic about based on just seeing some of these players. Guys who are potentially taller and bigger than I was expecting. For one, of course, I already noted this in my freshman breakdown, but Elijah Perryman is listed at 6'1". He's 6'3". And I don't say that a lot. Usually guys are getting...
Usually it's the other way around.
Usually they're inflating their height by 1 or 2 inches. He's undersold by about 2 inches. Like on film, when I was watching his high school highlights, he doesn't look 6'1". And then even on Utah State's roster, he's listed at 6'1". And I show up there and I was like, that kid's not 6'1". He's 6'3". 6'2", 6'3" at least. So he's taller than listed. And there are a couple of guys who are bulkier either than what they're listed at right now or bulkier than they were last season. Probably the most drastic is Tucker Anderson. I believe his playing listed weight on last year's roster was 190, maybe 195. He's listed at 210 now. And to give you a reference, Justin Bean was listed at 210 pounds. It's like that gives you the scale of the kind of weight that Tucker Anderson's putting on. And I believe I talked to Coach Calhoun about it because I think he mentioned it. Or I asked him and he talked about Tucker Anderson adding on weight. And that's huge. I guess literally huge. But this is a guy who's gone from being a bit of a twig to an actual power forward's body. And that's really important for a team that didn't look like they had a lot of bulk coming into this offseason. But they have another guy who's going to be a true power forward in terms of his body type, but he has a lot of the skills of shooting guards and small forwards, which that can make him an incredibly valuable player. Another guy who's bulkier, a lot bulkier than I was expecting, is David Iweze. His high school weight was 215 pounds. And that's something that concerned me because I was like, clearly this guy has potential down the line. You watch him play, you see his rebounding, shades of a post game in there, maybe a bit of a underrated rim protector. Coach Calhoun said he's 235 pounds, which is like Carson Templin's playing weight last year. And Iweze's a true freshman.
He's a freshman, yeah.
Playing at 235. Like, that fast forwards him to, from I'm not sure if he can play just based on the fact that he'll be 20 pounds underweight to, yeah, he could probably play right away. And at that point, the concern is he going to be able to catch up to the speed of the game? That's more the concern now. As opposed to having, can you even physically stand up to the position and you have to catch up to the speed of the game? One of those is pretty much eliminated for me now, and it's just a matter of, does he learn to play as a true freshman? So, I projected that he would probably be in the rotation just because there's only 4 bigs on the roster. But he looks like he's probably ready. And mind you, we talked to him after practice, so I got an up close look at him. I was like, yeah, he's solid 235 pounds and he's built. And it's not some high school baby weight where he's a little chubby. He's built, and a lot of that's good weight for a basketball player to be carrying.
Well, let's hear from Coach Calhoun, who broke down the practice from this morning, what he observed, and some of the things that you guys talked to him about. I believe there was a Sam Merrill sighting this morning.
There was. He was there.
And we'll get into a little bit of that and a little discussion about scheduling as well. So here's Coach Jerrod Calhoun after practice today in the Estes.
Yeah, the Estes Center. Eccles is a little further north.
Yeah, the Wayne Estes Center at Utah State.
Practice going on. How have things gone so far for you guys in practice with the new team?
Yeah, this is week 3, Jason. So obviously 10 new guys. Feel like it's gone great. Guys have worked really, really hard, not only on the court in the 4 hours, but also the weight room. Just trying to get acclimated with each other. I think it's going to take some time, obviously, but you saw the size, the length, the talent. I think we're very, very deep. We're very fast and very versatile.
Seems like you guys are really focusing on going fast, going up tempo. Is that just focus of some of these practices, or is obviously that was an emphasis of last year's team? How much of an emphasis is there on going really fast, keeping this team running?
Yeah, I think it's important to see guys play. I'm a big believer in the summer. You got to let guys play. So we probably play 5-on-5 more than most. But certainly we want to find, create, keep advantages defensively. We want to get better, right? We've talked about it. I think you saw MJ Collins and some of the size and length we have, Adlin, and some of these freshmen. And, even our returning guys will pick it up a lot better in year 2. So collectively we want to be better defensively. So we're going to put an emphasis on that this summer.
I know it's only an hour, but did you like the defense? There was a lot of deflections. It seemed like it was a stretch there where made a lot of stops.
When you're playing yourself, you're never happy, right? So a lot of turnovers, I thought. Sean, tons of turnovers. Sam Merrill, I thought, made a great comment. By the way, unbelievable guy back here in town today. Was in this gym at 5:45. I sent a video to the Cavs general manager. I said, "There's not too many players in the NBA that grind like Sam Merrill." So he was in here at 5:45 when we all walked in, and he said after 5 minutes that was more turnovers in 5 minutes in a whole NBA practice. So just slowing down, seeing the game better. Our guys get better with time. We're trying to build this thing. Really from the ground up. It's a new year. It's a new team. It's a lot of new players. So, we're kind of back to the basics. But the attitudes, the connectivity has been unbelievable. Feel really good 2 years in a row about the character of our team.
You don't like the turnovers, but defensively, when they're making stops, it has to make you a little happy.
Yeah, I think Coach Howard and Coach Hill like them, but I don't.
I guess do you feel like that's typical for like an offense, just trying to get a lot of new players, getting to know each other? Feel like, is that typical of this time of the season, or is it a little more than you were expecting?
Yeah, heck, sometimes now with the portal and everything going on, it goes into the preseason. So we do a really good job with tracking things. Jason, you saw we stopped them, at 7 turnovers per team, and then they got to run a 22. So I think it's accountability. Our early morning starts, I think, have been really, really good. We're really kind of modeling what Houston does. Talked to Alan Bishop and Aggie, strength coach down there at Houston, and really picked his brain about a month ago of how we kind of want to attack this summer. And all our workouts have been really, really early. Our guys are getting up at 6 a.m. We're in the gym by 7 or the weight room by 7. It's been really, really good to see everybody on time. You saw the energy in this building for an early practice, so it was really good.
Did Sam talk to the team, or obviously it means a lot probably having him around?
The guys didn't get a chance to talk to him, but he'll be around this summer. He said he's going to be around more than he has in years past. He was playing golf at 8 o'clock, so we didn't want him to be late for his tee time.
Coach, in terms of improving the defense, how much of that is physicality? Obviously, you guys got a lot more length this year. But I feel like if we go back to some of the things that happened last season, there were games where maybe it was a little too much finesse and not enough muscling inside,
Couldn't agree with you more. It's something you learn as you get into year 2 in the Mountain West, and obviously the Pac-12. We're already starting recruiting for 26. I think we've addressed some of our size. Zach Keller is, probably 6'10", 6'11", 245. David Iweze has real size. Carson Templin has gotten much bigger. Gary Clark is kind of a sneaky type of guy. He's very, very strong. He's stronger than he looks. Got to get his weight up. He's about 215. So we feel with the 4 front court guys we have, we've addressed some of those concerns. But, I would agree with you, right? And you're just trying to get better. And I think the way you do that is through recruiting and development. I think we're off to a good start.
Seems Tucker's bulked up a bit. Well, he looks a little bigger than he did last season.
Tuck has done a tremendous job. If you said, hey, who's one guy that's really gained a lot of weight, a lot of good weight, Jason, it'd probably be Tucker Anderson. My wife saw him probably 2 weeks ago and said, wow, it looked like he grew. But he really just grew, outwards. He did not grow upwards. I think he's probably gained about 17, 18 pounds of good, solid muscle. Coming from Central Arkansas is a big difference in playing in the Mountain West. We're expecting big things out of Tuck.
Luke Kearney also looked pretty good today. I think you only saw him miss 1 or 2 shots. Seemed like he's playing really confident, especially with that 3-point shot.
Luke's going to be really good. You talk about an unbelievable, great addition late. First of all, he's played in this league. Coach really taught him how to cut. He's a great cutter, but in our system, we're going to run him on a lot of wide pins. he's going to have a big year for us. If you say, hey, who's a couple of the standout guys, Luke Carney's one of them.
Could almost be like Dexter Econo because he kind of saw a really big jump coming from Oregon State.
That'd be great. I thought Dex, for a one-year guy, you talk about a guy that really bought into being an Aggie and putting in the work. He was in here every day at 7 a.m. and had one of the best shooting, it was definitely the best shooting percentages of his career. And I think Luke could do that.
Coach, can you talk about bringing back two familiar assistants in Curran and Johnny Hill and talking to them, and what made you bring them back?
I think what's special about Utah State, is the coaching tree. Right, is a bunch of guys that loved their time in Logan, loved being here. So when you talk to Coach Smith about, Curran Walsh, you talk to Danny Sprinkle about Johnny Hill, got rave reviews. But it doesn't stop there. What I like to do is I like to take a really deep dive beyond that. So really what I did is I talked to Sam quite a bit about Curran. I talked to Mason and I talked to KT about Johnny. Players know real coaches. Players know coaches that are knowledgeable and have motors. And, Sam and Mason and KT both signed off on all these guys. And to me, this is a players program. I've got to listen to my players. And I thought we did a really good job in those hires. These are young guys that want to move up to coaching ranks, want to be head coaches. Feel like we got a couple guys on my staff that are ready right now. I got this from Coach Missoula about a year ago. He said, you got to build some systems internally because you're going to have change, right? And I think the great programs, the great organizations can just move those guys up naturally, kind of like we did with Max Bent. He goes from the analytics guy, and that's going to be my plan with Curran if we have change.
What do you thought of the freshmen coming in here so far? Obviously, we haven't seen these guys yet on a college court. What have you thought of their impact so far?
I tell you what, I've been pretty pleased. Very, very pleased, actually. I think all 5 kids, certainly come from different backgrounds, different coaching. What you learn is you can find out in 2 weeks who's been coached, who understands how to read the ball, who understands cutting. Every game's different, right? From high school to college to the NBA. The NBA rules are different with the help and the 3 seconds and that sort of thing. High school, most of these kids have had the ball in their hands. They pass, they just cut away. We're having to teach them a lot about the game, but the length, the size, the skill has been tremendous. David Iweze is going to be a guy that is going to have an unbelievable career here. He's 235 pounds. Elijah Perryman's vision is incredible. Can really, really see the court. Played for a great high school coach and Coach Alaco. Adlin Alameen, the sky's the limit. I mean, he's 6'10", 6'11". He can shoot threes. He can cut. He can guard. He should be one of our better defenders. And Braden and Kingston have great upside, right? They're wing players that can shoot it. So we just got to teach them every day, bring them along. But, guys like Mason, guys like KT, guys like MJ Collins, Kolby King, Zach, we got a bunch of older guys that can help these kids develop, and they just got to keep working.
How's your knees?
Dr. Pickett and Brett, I think we have the best trainer. I'm pretty biased, but I think our athletic trainer is the best in the country. He's one of the best I've ever been around. He and Dr. Pickett have both advised no surgery. So I'm fighting through this thing. We're doing staff workouts every day. We want to be the most conditioned staff this year. And I'm just going to see how it goes the next 4 weeks. If not, I'm going to have surgery. How'd your surgery go, by the way? You good?
It's good, yeah.
All right. I see him all the time at the hospital. It's not a good thing.
One asked by the schedule, obviously not officially out yet. Just how far along are there as far as getting those non-conference games?
Yeah, we're really, really close. We feel, Jason, I think I talked to you guys when you guys were in my office that day. The formula is 4 to 5 quad 1, quad 2s at our level, non-league. We feel really good we're going to get there. Obviously getting the Memphis Tigers and Coach Hardaway, great program to come in here to Logan. We will be announcing probably the last 2 or 3 here in the next week, but there's going to be a really, really good schedule ahead of us. There's going to be some great games early, like real early. So we've got to have a great summer. We got to understand and educate our new guys on the 11 non-conference games are going to be really, really important, and they're going to be here before you know it. So, yeah, I'd say in the next week.
All right, there's Coach Jerrod Calhoun. After media availability earlier today, Utah State men's basketball team invited some members of the media to be there to observe practice and then talk to coach and players afterwards. Your thoughts, your reactions to what Coach had to say. We'll continue to share ours as well. If you want to chime in on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line, 435-339-0321.
Rely now on a York Affinity Premium Comfort System to keep your home cool and comfortable. The new Affinity systems are smarter and more connected and more efficient than ever before. And you can cut your energy costs by as much as 50%. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, to schedule a free system evaluation. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning showroom is west of DI and online at advancedheating-ac.com.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
Boom! It's Daryl's Appliance Independence Day Sale. This is Jay with Daryl's. Get 12 months, no interest financing, up to 40% off select appliances, Whirlpool, GE, Maytag, and more. We've got the lowest prices and the best service in the valley. And get this, 4 stores in one. Sales, service, parts, warranty, all under one roof. So head west on Airport Road and celebrate with us at Daryl's Appliance. Experience the Daryl's difference today. Listen for a live radio remote Saturday from 10 to 1.
Express Tire, tires for less. In and out with zero stress. Express Tire, tires for less. In and out with zero stress.
Located at 3200 North Main.
They can put your logo on it because that's what they do at the Logo Shop. They can put your logo on anything from pens and mugs to golf balls and clocks. The Logo Shop is also the place for your team shirts and uniforms. So if your team wants to look good, call the Logo Shop and order your team uniforms today. Colors, logo, and everything else looking just like you want it to. Get your team shirts and uniforms from the Logo Shop. Call them to get a bid or just drop by 40 South Main in Logan.
The Logo Shop. Logo Stop. The Logo Shop.
When grid failures and severe weather cause power outages, your business might take a hit, or at home, you could lose your refrigerated food storage. Generac Standby Power Solutions help ensure an uninterrupted power supply. Generac is the #1 brand of standby generators. Get yours today from Golden Spike Electric, your trusted source for safety and security. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gscgenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
Do you have a fireplace or stove that isn't working right? Why wait until next winter to get it fixed? Get ahead of the game and get your fireplace or stove serviced now by Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They service everything from Quadra-Fire pellet stoves to heat and glow fireplaces. Get a 20% discount on your next service and labor when you mention this ad. Call 752-7272 or go to advancedfireplaceandstove.com. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, where comfort is their business.
Girls, insist he take you to Jerrod's. Picking out your wedding ring is an experience you will never forget. Come to a place where the mood is right and the setting is perfect for romance. Jerrod's Fine Jewelry in Logan. The perfect collection of memorable designs, classic creation, and modern marvels. If you want an intimate, romantic experience you will never forget, then insist he takes you to Jerrod's Fine Jewelry. Make it special, make it Jerrod's at 930 North Main in Logan.
Jerrod's Fine Jewelry. Make it special, make it Jerrod's.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wee's T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning wants you to feel the love as they give away and install 5 new furnace and air conditioning units to families in need. You just got to go to their websites and nominate that family. Nominate them today because they're going to be receiving a full system. The equipment, the materials, installation services. It'll all go to deserving families who need a little extra support. But you have to nominate those families so they know who to select. Just go to mtnvalleyhvac.com and nominate a deserving family today. So great interview there with Coach Jerrod Calhoun, hearing him talk about the practice today. A little bit about scheduling, should be done here soon, but we heard that about a month ago when we met with the coaching staff. But there have been some things that have been matriculating and materializing with the schedule.
Got those $5 words, Eric.
Yes, but the practice itself is what was most interesting to watch and observe today with all these newcomers, a highly touted freshman class, some really interesting transfers, and of course the returning guys mixing it all up. And it really interesting to hear Coach going to talk about that and see how this team's coming together.
Yeah, it's coming together pretty well. And yeah, as far as the schedule, as he noted in the interview, they're expecting a few more games to be announced in the coming days. So should finish up the schedule, but again, he was expecting to finish the schedule a month ago, and that didn't happen. So not to say it's Calhoun's, it's not like Calhoun's lying. It's like he thought that was going to happen, and then it didn't. That's life. So, but to look at the team, I mean, you look at some of the returners. Mason's still a baller. Like, love the energy and fire. Like the one play that kind of sticks out was he went up for a block and blocked a shot off the backboard. One of the coaches called a foul, and Mason was like getting all upset. Which it was, that kind of good. Like he's passionate. It's practice, and he's getting competitive, and it has energy over practice. And it really goes to show the kind of player that he is. That he has that energy. He's vocal, brings that energy on the court, in the huddle, and of course, going about each play. It was an impressive play despite the foul that got called. And I'm sure he'd tell you it wasn't a foul. It looked more like a clean block to me. But so that's returner. Tucker Anderson looked pretty good. As we mentioned, he's gained, as Coach mentioned in the interview, 17, 18 pounds. Gone from about $190, $195 to 210 now on this year's roster as far as his weight listing. But to talk about some of the newcomers I was impressed with, one, there's three that I'll go over specifically. Well, maybe four. Starting with MJ Collins. This is a guy who I called a good athlete in my transfer breakdown article, and I think I undersold him a little bit, Eric. Like watching that kid, he effortlessly dunked the ball in some of the early layup drills they were doing at the start of practice. I was like, dang, this kid can fly. He's athletic, floats into the air, and he moves really fluid. And I think I caught some of that in my initial breakdown articles, that he moves pretty well, but I think I just understated how athletic this kid is. He's still not super long. He's about 6'3", 6'4", but he's going to be a good player and could end up being an Ian Martinez replacement. I think that's his peak. Whether or not he lives up to that, that's a pretty high standard for him to reach. But I think if he's somewhat close to that, then the Aggies are really going to benefit from that. So I was impressed in a number of ways by MJ Collins. Probably one of the guys I was most impressed with was Zach Keller. This is a guy who, in my breakdown, I noted his ability to be a pick and roll guy, both rolling to the basket, because he's not living above the rim as far as just throwing it down on everybody like some big centers are able to do, but he catches the ball really well, moves to the basket, and smooth finishes. I think he finished 3 or 4 pick and roll layups. And then had other cases where he was being a pick and pop big. I think the one I remember, I think he missed the 3-pointer, but it was a wide open 3-pointer, and that's going to be a good shot for him. So I was really impressed with his ability to impact the game through those ball screens in scoring and being really effective in that kind of action.
Let's hear from one of those guys. You had mentioned Mason Falslev earlier, just one of the returning guys, and still being a competitive force, a fiery guy on the court, and needing to be more of a vocal leader for the team this upcoming year. And these were some of his comments after practice earlier today.
I just thought being back in the gym. I know you're probably always in a gym somewhere, but what's it like being back with the team, getting practices going for a few weeks here?
It's good. It's definitely been hard. Been a big learning point for everyone, but it's been a lot of fun to get to know the new guys, and it's been awesome. Big fan of all the new recruits that Coach brought in, so I'm excited for another year.
What's it like to have the same coach for 2 years in a row?
Different feeling for sure, but it feels good. That's one of the biggest reasons why I stayed, is just because of the coaching staff. So the reason I'm here is because of them.
Obviously, you've been the leader of this team and so many new guys. What role do you take in that and make sure there's good chemistry, not only on the court but off the court as well?
Just try and be myself. I don't want to fake who I am, fake the person that I want to be. Just be myself and try to build good relationships with all the guys, whether that's helping them out with some project they got to do at their house to set something up, or having a little pool party at my parents' house, you know, just kind of things like that to just build relationships. That's all it is.
How's this offseason been for you? Because obviously the last few years you've been, the redshirt freshman or redshirt sophomore. It's like you're not taking the big role on the team, but now you're expected to be the best player on this team. What's that kind of been like for you this offseason?
It's just another year. I'm going to do the best that I can, trusting the coaches and trusting the process and do the work that I need to do. I've been in the gym a lot, working on a lot of things. I still have a lot of things that I need to get better at, but, trust that my work will show when the time comes. So just got to make it a habit, continue to work hard and build up the team, because it's not just going to be me that's going to win the game. It's going to be the whole team.
What specific things you've been trying to work on or elevate your game?
I've been doing a lot of left-hand stuff, shooting off the dribble, free throws, all kinds of stuff.
Kind of bouncing off of that, it seems like this year you guys in particular have a lot of guys who can go and get a bucket on their own. So how does that affect your role as sort of the facilitator? Just having so many guys that can create their own shot.
Yeah, I know the way we play offense, everyone's going to have looks, everyone's going to have reads. So, it doesn't matter to me if I'm getting played by someone. If that's their whole scheme is to stop me, then it's great that we have other guys to go and make those reads and win the game for us.
What's been your impression of some of your new backcourt? Because you got some guys coming back, Jordy and Drake. But obviously you got Kolby and MJ. What have you seen from those new guys coming in?
They're dogs, man. I'm a big fan of MJ, big fan of Kolby. Zach's awesome. We just have some great transfers and great freshmen, like Coach was saying earlier. Like I'm very surprised with how solid our team is. And I don't want to jinx anything, but I think we've got some pretty good depth this year, and I wouldn't want to be in coach's position right now because it's going to be hard to pick and choose who's going to play and who will end up not playing.
Did you get more nervous at all playing in front of Sam Merrill?
I think the team did. I think the team did. Yeah, I remember watching Sam all the time. It was pretty cool to come in here and watch him get a workout in, and he's just. That's the dream. What he's doing, you know what I'm saying? Is comes in here, plays in the NBA, and does some amazing stuff. He's a great guy on and off the court, so it's cool to see him.
Newlywed, how's that?
It's great. I was just putting together dressers, putting together all kinds of stuff to make my new wife happy. But no, she's awesome, and it's been a good 3.5 weeks.
I saw some of the pictures. You had a lot of guys coming.
Yeah, no, a lot of the guys came back to town. It was awesome to get to see Josh and Khalifa and Great and DB and X, all these guys who we won a championship with. It was good to see those guys again.
Mason Falslev stepping into a leadership role, but he says he's not going to change who he is. He's just going to continue to go about his business, and he's more of a lead by example kind of guy anyway.
Yeah, well, I think he's had a lot of the attributes of leadership. It's just he's not been put in that specific position because redshirt freshman, of course, he wasn't like the leader, so to speak, but he was still really productive and still a key part of the team. But, that was Darius Brown and Great Offsport's team. Last year, he shared that a lot with Ian Martinez, so I may have shortchanged him a little bit as far as like whether or not he was like the leader of the team because he was one of the top players. Mm-hmm. But now it's like, it's him. This is his team. It's kind of like when Sam Merrill, like that his junior year, like, Kobe McEwen left, and it was Sam Merrill's team. And Sam Merrill stepped right into that and balled out. We'll see if Mason Falslev is able to do the same.
Yeah. And then let's, before we take another quick timeout, somebody else who we were talking about off air was somebody else who impressed you was Kolby King.
Yeah. Mason put it pretty good well when he said, he's got that dog in him. He didn't say that exactly, but he said he's a dog. And Kolby King was all over the court, diving for loose balls, causing deflections. Shot the ball pretty well when it was his turn. He's a good three-point shooter, so he's going to be a really good all-around player. And he says as much when I ask him about the type of player that he is.
So I guess just start off thoughts on coming to Logan, getting practice started. Just thoughts on being here so far.
It's great. Just coming in, getting the basics down packed for the team. The team is awesome. Filling out everybody, filling out the sets, and what the coach wants for me and what the team wants for me, and what I got to do the job to get done. So yeah.
So you've had a few times in your career where you've moved spots. Like, what's kind of the process as you've gotten used to getting to a new team and getting acclimated? What does that kind of take to get used to a new team, in one off season?
It takes a lot, like you said. Been bouncing around. I've been a hard hand I've been dealt, but just getting used to the process, just trying to adapt quickly and fast as we can to hurry up and start building now, because we build now, it's in the future, in the long run, it's going to pay off. So just quickly process, get to know the guys more, bond with them more, get acclimated with the team, watch a film a lot. So, yeah.
What made you want to come here? What brought you to Utah State?
Coach Calhoun and the coaching staff, man, just the vision they saw for me here. They said it would be a great fit for me, especially when I first talked to him. He was overly excited, and I never even met him. You know what I'm saying? He just breaking down the stuff I can do here for the team, and how the team loves me and how they want me here real bad. So just me and him and that connection, that's what led me here.
One thing we were actually talking about with Coach a second ago was trying to up the physicality compared to their team last year. You're a real scrappy guard. So what do you feel like the fit will be in terms of what Coach Calhoun is looking in terms of this year's identity for the team?
Getting it done on both sides of the floor. Like you said, I'm a scrappy guard, and then sometimes it starts on defense, and I take pride on defense. You know what I'm saying? You get the defense going. You get the other team miserable, and we go on runs. You know what I'm saying? I'm a guard that can do it on both sides of the floor. Anything to do for the team. You know what I'm saying? Play defense, turn the offense, be a facilitator, score when the team wants me to, wherever it takes. So.
It seemed like you really were bringing a lot of energy in practice. You mentioned, being scrappy, getting out, getting deflections, getting out and running. That's something fans should be expecting from you when they see you on the court this next season?
Yeah, for sure. Respect. I feel like I'm an overall guard that lets it scrappy, get a lot of rebounds, get on the floor, dive, get steals. I love defense. So that brings my offense outside out of me, and that's when I'm at my best.
So Mason's the returning leading scorer, and obviously kind of a veteran. What do you think of his game since you've been able to play with him?
Man, Mason is great, man. He's a great leader. He came to me open me with welcome arms as soon as I got here. His chemistry on the court is unbelievable. His talking, his work ethic is crazy. So him, I see why he was that guy last year.
Now there's Kolby King, and excited for his that point guard battle is going to be a thing for Utah State for sure.
Yeah, I think Drake and Kolby are probably going to end up being splitting minutes, similar to what we saw last year between Drake and I've already forgotten his name.
Jordy?
No, the guy who went to New Mexico.
Oh,
why did I forget his name?
Yeah,
Dayton Albury. Goodness gracious, I've already forgotten him. I shouldn't. He's a good kid. I think you're going to see Kolby and Drake split minutes, and they're both going to be big impact players on this team.
Another quick timeout. We'll be right back after this on the Full Court Press.
This is Catherine Buse with Cache Valley Bank, and we understand that concerns about fraud can weigh heavily on you. Your peace of mind is important to us. That's why we're committed to looking out for you and your family. Our team keeps a vigilant eye on your account. If you ever have concerns or need support, we're just a call or visit away. Whether you need advice or just someone to talk to, our friendly staff is ready to help. We're more than just a bank. We're your neighbors, and we care about your security. Visit your local branch today. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Emily Peterson, founder of Serenoni Luxury Blankets and Gifts. We started right here in Logan over 18 years ago, and what began as a way to help our daughter has grown into a local business that still does everything right here in Cache Valley, from designing to shipping to our shop that's open to the public. Our blankets are made with purpose and care. They're comfort, connection, and home. Serenoni, born in Logan and made for the moments that matter. Come shop our store on 10th West, right next to iFit in Logan.
The Sportsman on Main Street is loaded with great clothing, shoes, and equipment. This is Mark inviting you to come in and check out our awesome store. For 71 years, we have outfitted you, whether you are going on the trail or to the theater. Trust me, you won't see yourself coming and going as we work hard to have some of the most unique clothing and shoes you will see anywhere. If it's a bike, skis, or a unique clothing and shoes, I promise we will take care of you only at the Sportsman on Main Street in historic downtown Logan with tons of free parking in the back.
Retirement. Are you ready?
Adams Wealth Advisors specializes in preparing you for a secure retirement. There's no reason to feel frustrated. The team at Adams Wealth will create a personalized plan that includes timing of retirement, reliable income sources, Social Security, estate planning, and more. Adams Wealth Advisors has a team of CPA, certified financial planners, Social Security experts to help you plan and retire with confidence. Call today, 752-1702, or visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com. That's AdamsWealthAdvisors.com. Your dream retirement starts here.
They never could play it, but they sure can talk about it. Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker on the Full Court Press.
The trained technicians at Young Power Sports of Logan know Can-Am, Kawasaki, KTM, Polaris, Sea-Doo, and more inside and out. They work with any brand, any model. They've got a great new big service center. So if you need help with your ride, take it to Young Power Sports of Logan. Having a lot of fun today, hearing from Coach Jerrod Calhoun, from some of his players as well, as they allowed media to go watch some practice and talk to them earlier this morning. And Young Power Sports, they do sponsor our text line, 435-339-0321 and 2444. Texting in a follow-up. I might have missed this if Coach mentioned it in the practice interview, but are all the injuries for returning players from last year fully healed? Mason's foot, Carson's knee, etc.
I would assume so. We didn't address it because I didn't ask. I didn't think to. I just kind of assumed in the offseason a lot of those get cleared up. Any minor surgeries, that maybe any of them, if they need them. Of course, Coach Calhoun himself is trying to figure out whether or not he needs surgery. He mentioned that in his interview. But I would assume Mason moved really well. Carson was moving pretty well. So I'd assume based on watching them that they should be just fine.
One of the other players that you were able to visit with today was one of the freshmen, David Iweze, somebody that you've been excited about, and this is someone who's looks bulkier than you anticipated.
Yeah, I was expecting him to play kind of no matter what, but like he's coming in about 20 pounds heavier than his high school playing weight, which basically puts him at a decent playing weight, 6'9", 235. That's a decent small ball center who's like a sophomore or junior. That's like Carson Templin. So this guy's coming in as a true freshman and has a playing weight, so he's physically going to be ready. And we'll see if he's mentally ready. Though, based when you hear him in the interview, he's a pretty stand-up kid. And he's pretty well-spoken, too. He should be ready.
First impressions, just getting to practice, first year of college, what's that been like for you?
It's been great. It's really easy getting to adjust to the speed of the game and stuff because we have a bunch of coaches who are willing to teach us the game and slow it down for us and break down everything so we can catch up to the speed of the game. So,
how do you feel that process is going for you overall, catching? Because you're out there running pretty fast, moving pretty well.
I feel like it's been good. We're told to make mistakes so we can learn from them so that we can make them here. When we're in the game, we can be ready to play. So it's been pretty easy adjusting to the speed of the game and everything.
You feel like this team is meshing together? Because Coach said there's a lot of new guys, a lot of new faces, young guys, transfers, veterans.
Yeah, I feel like from day one we've all had like a bond, and like it's been a nice little chemistry we've all had. So it's been no problem meshing together with everyone.
Anything surprise you about Logan moving here?
I say the mountains. Seeing them every day is kind of crazy because coming from Texas, we don't see them ever. So having them right in front of your face is kind of crazy.
How's it been for you in terms of like the basketball culture here? Obviously, the fans are super obsessed with the team. It kind of is the main attraction of Logan. So, how's that been for you?
It's been crazy because the first day I got here, I was at Walmart and I was getting noticed by people at Walmart asking if I was on the team and stuff like that. So it's nothing like I've experienced before. So it's kind of crazy.
What have they told you about the Spectrum? Have they showed you videos or had you been in the Spectrum for a game on Iweze or anything like that?
No, but I've seen videos and it gets packed and really loud. They always tell us we have to be loud in practice because in the Spectrum it's like 10,000 people in there, so they can't hear you if you're quiet. So we have to be loud. So yeah.
Any one of your teammates that really jump out at you that you're surprised by their talent or skill level or anything like that?
Yeah, everyone here is very talented, especially one of the freshmen, Adlin. I feel like he's pretty talented because he's my height, moving like a guard, which is crazy to me. So, but everyone else here is pretty talented, so it's crazy.
What are you looking forward to most this season? What do you want to accomplish year one?
I just want to win as much as possible, go as far as we can this year, and have a great season this year.
What's going to be like for you in terms of adjusting to roles? Because it feels like it could be very fluid with the rotation. I mean, there's just so much talent that, like, game to game, week to week, you're not really sure who could be starting and who isn't, who's playing, who's not. So what's your approach in terms of handling that?
My approach is just, like, control what I can control. So, like, work as hard as I can to do whatever I can to get on the court. Whatever coach needs me to do, I'll do it.
I guess for the fans, what do you feel like is the biggest thing they need to know about you in terms of you on the court, like what you bring to the team? What should they know about you?
I feel like I bring energy. I'm a competitor, and I'll do whatever it takes to win.
You have a player comp, a player that you try and model your game after?
I've been told I'm a little like Bam Adebayo, but I don't really see it, so I don't know.
That's not a bad comp.
Yeah.
That would be great if that were the case.
And I can see the comp. I don't know if maybe he doesn't see it, but I can see it because Bam is a versatile big, and so is David. So that's not a bad comp. He shouldn't shy away from that the way he kind of was. Maybe he was just being humble.
Very exciting stuff for hearing from the coach and the players from practice earlier today. Quick timeout and some final thoughts next here on the Full Court Press.
No matter what the conditions, DD Auto and Salvage can get your vehicle up and off your property. Now is the time to plan to make extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage and moving that old vehicle. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy to get rid of your junker vehicles, paying you the most money possible. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
S.E. Needham Jewelers has been helping couples celebrate their anniversaries for more than a century. When you present her a piece of diamond jewelry in an S.E. Needham box, it says you are committed to taking care of her forever. We absolutely stand behind our jewelry, our prices, and our service. We always have and always will. This anniversary, give the gift of diamond jewelry. A diamond from S.E. Needham Jewelers says that you plan on being there for the rest of her life, just like we will be. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
The patio is open. The chips are endless. Drinks on tap. You know it's got to be Cafe Sabor, Cache Valley's best Mexican restaurant, gold winner in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Experience Locals Day every Thursday with a huge burrito, endless chips and soda, only $7.95. That's a complete lunch for just $7.95. Finding any lunch under $10 is nearly impossible. Every Thursday, drinks, chips, and massive burrito, just $7.95. The patio, the sun, the fun at Cafe Sabor in the historic train station on 6th Weston Center in Logan.
The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
If you need a local mechanic that you can trust, visit one of your locally owned Napa Auto Care Centers. You can find one by visiting NapaOnline.com or by calling your local Napa store. They can advise you where to go. These are folks from your community serving you with expertise and integrity. Each of them are locally owned, just like your Napa store from Preston to Providence. Final segment here on the Full Court Press, and talking a lot about Utah State men's basketball. Had the invited the media to an open practice today. Then you got to visit with coach and some of the players. Just some of the final thoughts, Jason, as we kind of wrap up the hour. Just some of the guys who stood out to you today, and just what you're observing about the depth and talent of this year's team.
Yeah, I think the depth is good. This team is really good. Mason, said in his interview he doesn't envy Coach Calhoun for having to pick who's going to play. And I kind of had that when I wrote my article a few weeks back about trying to project who was going to play and who wasn't. And I wasn't happy with the results because there were players I wanted to play that I had redshirting. It wasn't a fun exercise. But I think this team is deep. They're not perfect. They have some weaknesses. They have some things they need to fix. I don't want to paint this perfect picture of this team. They have concerns. But it's early in the process, and they have a lot of strengths, too. They've got really good wings, really good guards, some decent bigs, and I'm higher on this team than I was, before this practice, which is a good thing. When you see a team in person and are more impressed than you are concerned, that's at the very least a step forward, especially when it's early in the process, because there's a lot of mistakes that can be made. And there were some mistakes made. They had a lot of turnovers, which Coach Calhoun talked about. But overall, I'm more impressed with this team in terms of their length and ability to play physical, and I know the skills are going to come along. They're going to hit a lot of these shots. The passing is going to be more crisp. They just got to get in sync a little bit. It's a lot of newcomers. And so, yeah, generally more optimistic about this team than I was. And I was already decently high on a lot of these players, and they still managed to exceed some of my expectations. So overall, I think there's reason to be excited about this season for a number of different reasons.
And excited to see what comes with the Utah State men's basketball schedule, which appears to be getting firmed up. The reports, we'd heard a rumor earlier, and John Rothstein reported on this just the other day, that Utah State versus VCU, but that game will be played in Frisco, Texas on November 7th.
That's just weird.
Neutral site game. That's an odd place for both teams. What arena's even
in Frisco that they're playing? Are they playing in North Texas Stadium? Isn't that where North Texas, aren't they in Frisco, or are they somewhere else?
I think they are in that area.
I can't remember exactly. I know that's where Utah State played in the Frisco Bowl a few years ago, and like the Dallas FC plays in a stadium there, but they're not playing in a soccer arena.
No. So and that's a good game. It's a good neutral site game against a solid opponent, and we'll see how the rest of the schedule comes together for Utah State men's basketball. If you missed any of the interviews, you want to hear them again, they'll be available on our podcast feed shortly after we get off the air, which can be found wherever you subscribe to podcasts, or you can just find it on our website, 1069thefan.com, or even on our mobile app, 1069 The Fan mobile app, so you can listen live and listen to past episodes whenever you want, wherever you are. It's always fun. And we'll have you getting here tomorrow at 4 o'clock, same time.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The OKC Thunder just won the NBA title with the youngest roster in the league. And just like that, the word dynasty is already flying around. But let's pump the brakes. Dynasties are rare for a reason. They're incredibly difficult to build and nearly impossible to sustain. Just last offseason, the NBA was racing for a Celtics takeover. That didn't last. Go back to 2014, the Seahawks, young and dominant, fresh off a Super Bowl. That dynasty never materialized. We've seen it across all sports. Teams that look destined for greatness only to be outdone by injuries or egos or the simple fact that winning at the highest level is brutally hard. OKC is talented. SGA's a star. Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren are stars in the waiting. Dynasties aren't just about being young and good, though. They're about evolving and enduring and developing again and again and again. Enjoy the moment, OKC. You got one banner. The next ones will be even tougher. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.